RBRadio.com. Dexys Midnight Runners were formed in 1978, much to my delight, and named after an illegal substance that made you dance all night. The brainchild of Rowlands and Archer, they had a sound and look to match, and gave birth to the Dexys concept in Midland squats. Their egg was soon to hatch. Rowland's voice was unique, a nasally soulful sound, belting out the songs, and got to #1 twice. That's where this group belongs. Donkey jackets, holdalls, Benny hats, berets, gypsy scarves, and a pair of dungarees. That look was as important as their lyrics, yes, Dexys wore all these. The lineup changed a plenty, a bit like Baz's Blues in 1995, and when the young soul rebels died, the Celtic ones came alive. Was it really Jackie Wilson, or perhaps something Jockey Wilson said? The top of the pop's hair turned blue, the producer's face turned red. But it's searching for the young soul rebels, I'll remember them for, and gladly with a rebranding, they're now back for more. That team that met in Caps turned my light to green, so give that iconic disc a spin, and you'll see just what I mean. Welcome to the Sports Radio Music Show at the Flapper, Birmingham, for the Team That Dreams in Caps event. The story behind Dexys Midnight Runners searching for the Young Soul Rebels album. Let the story begin. RBRadio.com. Joining me now, the man of the book, JB, Jeff Blythe. There's quite an irony here that 24 years ago when the album came out, you were searching for the Young Soul Rebels. The Stone Foundation that's with you tonight,
right,
they found the spirit. So where someone's searching, someone's found. The team.
Well, I think the implication with searching for the Young Soul Rebels is we found ourselves to a large extent anyway. We were the Young Soul Rebels, you know? Mm-hmm. And it was about, but we were searching for the Young Soul Rebels outwards from us. I mean, being very insular as like a tribe in Dexys Midnight Runners, so we felt we were Soul Rebels, we were searching for the Young Soul Rebels outwards, which is a way of sort of like saying we're trying to put our message out, and so we're searching for those, like a preacher fashion almost like a religious fashion, we're searching for those that hear the message kind of thing.
But isn't that's the very essence of music, isn't it?
It depends. It is the very essence of what music is supposed to be. It is not the very essence of what is often shoved down one's throat on the corporate-based stuff that comes out these days. But it's what it's supposed to be.
Now your book, the teams that
dreams in caps
that come from the album.
It was a mess around of the instrument. The title of the instrumental track that's on the album is the teams that meet in caps.
Exactly.
Because we always used to meet in caps, particularly the Apollonia. Down on Broad Street, and on a row of buildings that had long since been torn down. So when I was approached by Ian Snowball, my friend Snowy, to do this book, right? It was his idea, and he got Mike Lay, the photographer, to do it, and he wanted me to write, like a kind of narrative to go with it, as I remembered it. So one of the first things I wrote was like the memories of the Apollonia Cafe, I called it the goddess of greasy spoons. Apollonia, the goddess of greasy spoons. And so that little section of it I called, the team that dreams in caps, because that's what we're doing. Have a cups of tea and bacon sandwiches, and we're like Snowy liked it. I mean, that was just one of the subheadings of like a bunch of different things. Everything I was writing was kind of under a little subheading. So that was one of them, and Snowy loved it. We thought, we got to call the book that, which is like really kind of fitting, So I totally went with that, and it was like a great idea for a title.
But you're right. There are so many teams that do meet in caps. A cap is a great place to hook up with people. Is that literally how you thought? Like, blimey, look at this team here. There might be a football team. There might be a group of builders. There literally is so many. And
well, that is absolutely true. Of course. I mean, it was like our front office.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it was. It's our office. The geezer that ran this place, they didn't seem to mind at all. We would just sit there for hours at this table, like, all day.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't care. It was a fairly big place. You know, as I say, there's I write about it in the book. You get like a couple of like British railway workers that were off their shift coming in for tea in the sunny stuff like that. You know, I guess probably there was an early morning rush of people like in the factories, but we would always miss that. We weren't that early. But it was like being in school that you had to attend. If we weren't rehearsing, we were sitting there together all day, every day, because that's what we did, and that's what we were expected to do, and that's what we wanted to do, and we were just going to be together all the time, you know, and to solidify our, as it were, our tribal identity in these places.
And the look, as well as everything else, was, it's almost though it was orchestrated. You had donkey jackets.
Well, it was very orchestrated, and I mean, it's kind of as a look should be. I mean, you're trying to put across, if you like, a flavour. This is not a good word to describe it, but like a sort of identity across the rest of the world, and it's not just what you sound like, but it's what you look like. You know, I mean, I personally hate, people that get bands. Oh, we don't care what we look like. It does make a difference. I mean, it's like food. It ain't just what it tastes like, it's what it looks like. What it looks like. It's like the flavour. It's all part of the flavour, and you've got to, your identity is what you sound like, it's what you look like, it's how you act. It's like, where you go, it's the whole 9 yards. But that look was not how things started.
Sorry?
That look was not how things started off. And again, I've written about that.
Tell me how it did start.
Well, it started off when we were playing in this little funny little place, which is forgetting that. Anyway, little place in Birmingham City Centre when we were first starting, and Kevin had designed these costumes. You got to remember, this is also around the start of the kind of new romantic thing.
Oh God, it's late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah, right, late 70s, early 80s, exactly. We were coming out. 79 was when we really started to make our move. 80, of course, is when Gino Hitler and Soul Rebels came out. But yes, that was the very start of that stuff. Pardon me. We had outfits that were looked like they should have been out of that thing, like flowing robes and like all kinds of strange stuff, and nets hanging off people, and I looked like a dress up Mexican general with a sash and a weird haircut, and jodhpurs and stuff like that. And we got Dave Cork to manage, and he said, look, you can't go out with a soul band looking like that. It's just, talking about your look's got to support your identity. That so didn't. So then, and it was actually Kevin that came up with the idea of that, but we were all into On the Waterfront was a famous movie, which is where he quotes that this idea came from. But it wasn't just that, actually. A bunch of us, sorry about this. So a bunch of us also had seen this movie Mean Streets, which is Scorsese's first big movie. And that's a movie that broke Robert De Niro, right? And I was particularly taken with that because I was the first one that's so I wasn't particularly personally enthralled with the donkey jacket thing. So I started wearing this leather coat, the kind of long, scraggly looking kind of leather coat, and that came from what the De Niro thing in Mean Streets.
That look, I promise you. When you guys come out, as I say, there was Dexys, there was UB40, there was Jam, there was the Specials, there was the Two-Tone Explosion.
Right.
As a kid, I was like, 14, 15 at the time. There was nothing, there was no bands that we could identify with.
Right.
You made donkey jackets and old doors and beret hats and Benny hats. You made it so fashionable. Birmingham City, we used to go away to away games thinking we was like Dexys Midnight Runners. The song Gino, and that was Gino Washington, a big part of yourself. You was in his band, and didn't you apply through an Evening Mail advertisement to join Dexys Midnight Runners?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And the reason I went after this ad because it said influences Gino Washington. And he just packed up and gone back to America.
Yeah.
Which is that's the first thing I ever did. First gig I ever did. Big gig I ever did as like a young'un. You know. Was on the road for 3 months with Gino Washington, and he decides he's going to pack it up and go back to the States, and so I'm left with nothing to do, sitting around Birmingham, on the dole with nothing to do, looking through the Evening Mail for ads, and I see this one, and made for that then, aren't I? Talk about a coincidence.
And that album, Searching for the Young Soul Rebels, an iconic album. That's what we're here today. That's what the book's all about. There was some fantastic songs. As I say, Gino was one of my all-time, probably, if you take away Paul Weller, which is my all-time top 20 of Paul Weller, apart from that, Gino's got to be in my top 10. There, my dear Robin. That was a letter, wasn't it, to somebody?
It was, okay, yeah, I've told it, yes. It was a letter. It wasn't to anybody specifically. It was, if you like, an open letter, and that came about because we'd spent like a lot of time, as you did, playing colleges and unis, and so like we all have. Kevin Ron puts into words, got really disillusioned with the student body en masse, and that's because like we would see like these kind of like. Almost like dirty looking, like sort of thought progress. They thought, this is how it was felt. Thought they were like progressive liberals, come the revolution kind of attitude, Where in fact, to us, they were all like conformists, and that was supposed to be an open letter to these student people. It's like, just because you're looking dirty, you're looking like you don't care about what you wear. There's actually a conformism to that, not caring about what you wear, as opposed to caring about what you wear and saying, this is me, this is my identity. So we thought it was a total like conformist lack of identity, and so like it was actually Kevin's idea to basically write an open letter, let this fictitious character. Robin was no Robin, of course, it was a fictitious character, but so that was the idea behind that.
And the two main songwriters in there, Archer and Rowlands, did you walk up in garages and squats?
Oh, yeah. Constantly, yeah. I mean, we'd be sitting around the cafes when we weren't there, but I mean, of course, what we were trying to do most of the time was actually to get the stuff together. So we were practicing, So we practiced. We did most of our practicing. And we did a squat for a little while until we got back one day, and there was somebody else's padlock on it, so we had to break that, take our gear out. We were in a couple of like little industrial spaces for a while, it's like next to some like drop forge, which is like freezing freaking cold with one of those, rocket type heaters, it's like a jet engine, trying to get some. And the longest time now we're in someone's garage. I think it actually might have been one of Kevin's brothers' like garages. Actually, we're in a garage for literally in a garage for the longest time, like getting this stuff together.
JB. Your name's Jeff Blythe.
Yes.
It's a
With a G, yeah. Well, okay.
How's the JB?
But this, all right. It's phonetic.
Yeah, okay.
So the idea comes out like this again. This is Kevin's idea at the start of it when we first really danced. He thinks we should, because of the whole like on the waterfront thing. Thinks it should all sound like kind of Italian. So instead of Kevin Archer, Al Archer. Kevin Carlo Rolan. Okay, Carlo Rolan. And mine was JB because Jeff Blythe JB, but they thought it sounded better than GB. It's spelled with a G. You know what I mean? If you're an American, it's spelled with a J. So it's, it's my initials, but the wrong initials, and it's
The little boy or the lad, he's probably about a 16-year-old lad on the front of him. Who is it?
Anthony O'Shaughnessy.
Oh, okay.
Oh, now thereby hangs a really funny story. So. The picture was found, and it's obviously in the Troubles in like Northern Ireland. But the picture was found. I think it came out like a Sunday Times magazine or somewhere. Don't hold me like now, but it's a magazine like that. Somebody that was researching like possible really good images and found that. We couldn't find out who the photographer was. The record company really tried to trace back a photographer, could never find out who it was, you know. But we decided to use that picture. And it was obviously a picture of some, you know, young kids and some people like in distress.
Yeah.
As it turned out in Belfast. So we're playing a gig in Belfast, like 1979, I suppose it was, you know. And we're sitting in a dressing room, and in comes this guy, 21 or 22, I think he was at the time. And he's got a big cutout of himself. One of the things the local record store had, they had some big cardboard cutouts of the figure from the front cover, right? Like life-size ones, right? So he comes walking in the dressing room carrying his life-size cutout figure of his kid, and he says, "That's me." Apparently he didn't know anything about this. He didn't know anything about Dexys Midnight Runners. He's walking down the street in Belfast. Sees this picture of himself, like huge cutout of himself in a record store window, and like almost fainted. And so he had to go and made the record company made the record shop give it to him. Found out we were in town, walked down and met up with him. And that's Anthony O'Shaughnessy. He wrote something in the book. He's still around. He comes to these things, you know. Postman in Belfast.
There are so many stories. I mean, Dexys, the name, the Midnight Runners, the Dexy bit, that come from a drug that kept you dancing all night.
It did, yeah. In fact, it took a long time to come up with a name. I mean, months to come up with a name. Coming up with a good name for a band is like the hardest thing on the planet. It really is. It's something you struggle with. And the idea of the Midnight Runners had come up. We had the Midnight Runners way before we had the Dexys, actually. And then it was going around and we chucked around, well, it should be somebody's Midnight Runner, not just the, you know, the idea was the Midnight Runners, right? So no, it's got to be, that's not hip enough, that's not cool enough, you know, so not the Midnight Runners, it should be somebody's Midnight Runners. Like one idea was like Marvo's Midnight Runners. That sounds too circusy, you know. So it came up with Dexys because it sounds like a name, but it's Dexedrine, so it refers back to the whole Northern Soul thing and the Midnight Runners thing, you know, all night dances. You know, Kev Archie used to go to those. Just got off the phone with Kev Archer, by the way.
Are any of the boys coming up here tonight?
No, I mean, I asked Steve and I asked Big Jimmy and I asked, well, Kev Archer doesn't leave his house and he's still a good friend and he's here in Heart.
Oh, right.
I was just speaking to him for an hour, just on the phone. I was talking to him for an hour before I came over here, actually. And, you know, he's doing good, but, you know, he doesn't like to leave the house. So, I mean, he's definitely here in spirit and he's asked me to say that, and, you know. So I put my best out of Kev Archer. Steve Spooner, who is a good mate of mine, I see all the time. He lives down in Cornwall. I go down in Cornwall. I always see him down there. He's working at a job which means he cannot get up because it's a job that's associated with the farm and ice cream and stuff like that. Actually, so this is like half term coming up. They cannot let him go. So. But again, he's here in the spirit. Big Jimmy, I asked, he decided he didn't want to come. I don't know why. No. He's on my album. You ever joined live album?
I haven't, no.
Oh, but you will have after this, because I shall give you one.
Well, tell me all about that, because the support band that's playing tonight, there is a massive connection to your band as well, isn't there?
Yes. Well, Archie, after the split with Dexys, we formed the Bureau, and Archie was the lead singer. Archie had come from a band that had been opening for us, opening for Dexys. Called The Upset. Anyway, so after that, various people in the Bureau did not want to carry it through, so I thought I had enough of this for my own band, which is like a kind of continuum. Now, the thing about what I do with G.I. Blight is that this is my vision of what I think, to me, Dexys, the soul band, the soul band which should have gone more funky and which should have been a soul funk band, would have turned into, in the 20th century, with the contemporary version of what that should have been. Big Jimmy is still the trombone on it, because I want that horn sound that I got. And that horn sound works with Big Jimmy. There's like no other bone player that works with my tenor playing that well, you know. And so it's like fantastic album. It's the thing I'm working on most. So it's not my bread and butter thing has been a Celtic rock band for the past 25 years in New York.
The Celtic rock band.
Yes.
That leads me nicely to
G.I. First, all right. Before you get nicely to G.I., I'm going to tell you a little more about G.I. Blight. So this is something I'm going to be working on a lot more just coming up. It was released in 2012. The album's called Lost in Space.
Well, my trees complaining, where am I? Lost. When the cat is prowling, when the ghost is walking, when the fog is creeping, and when the wolf is howling, in the brushstroke talking, in the understanding, in the G-man's knowing, in J. Pollock's pouring, where am I? Lost. When the jets are screaming, when the ground's receding, when the sheep is swaying, when the wake is snaking. Sewing in the realizing that when the crew is slamming. Summer blue, in the raptors hunting, in the raven warning, when the baseball's flying, and when the Mets are dying. Lost. Lost. When the waves are crashing, and when the seagulls are crying.
I put it under my own name, G.I. Blythe, because I was so fed up with people doing the dirty underneath and like you put a lot of effort into something, and you got a lot of people involved, so it's a problem. All you need is one person to turn around and say, oh, I can't be bothered anymore, walk off, but you can't do it under that name because I'm part of that. Right, so now it's my name, so nobody can do that.
Yeah.
A fantastic album. You will have a copy. When you hear it, you will agree.
Well, we have got a radio station, we have got radio programs, and I will definitely 100% be playing that for you on there.
Fantastic.
Tell me a little bit more in depth about some of the songs, some of the tracks, some of the influences that you've got.
Well, the big thing about this is I finally got to do what I wanted to do for a long time. So I mean, Big Jimmy wrote a couple of the songs on this, but I wrote most of the songs on this, and it's like finally getting to like write the kind of stuff I want to write as well, which is hard to, if you played this back to back with such a young songwriter, you could totally see the connection. And it's very different in a way. This is a lot more updated. It's a lot more kind of like funky, a lot more of a groove to it. It sounds like it's come from 2013, 2014, not from 1980. You can tell the difference, but it sounds like it's totally related. It totally sounds like it's come from the same. Sounds like it had the same parents. Put it that way, and which it did. And that was a whole big thing about me. I mean, I was immersed. I was everything from like Dixieland jazz and like Sidney Bechet and all that to like the big soul movements. I mean, saxophone play obviously gravitates to that kind of music. You gravitate to kind of music, but this is why you play what you play and like the stuff you love to play. And And that's my life, and that's what I believed in. That's what I always have believed in. That's what I always will believe in. So when you go to like, you know, somebody coming to me and saying learn the fiddle, I tell them to like, as I say, what I said was like not repeatable on family friendly radio.
This isn't family friendly. You're talking to the Gabby Cabber. You can tell me exactly what you're
Well,
talking about.
Fuck off. All right. I mean, fuck that for a game of soldiers, if you like.
Yeah. It went down well, I'm guessing.
I'm sure. Yeah, well, it's just no. I mean, you know, it wasn't like, you know, you guys, it's like, I suggest you do this. You know, I knew it was all kind of going then. And I say, plus, again, I don't want to mention any names, but I was told that a couple of my mates were going to get fired as well at the same time, which I wasn't having. Because I thought this is... A bunch of us actually believed the hype, if you like. We believed that we'd signed up for this. We believed in the Soul Rebels. You know, we believed that, and all my friends have put like their blood and sweat into it. Yeah. No, you might not be the guy that wrote Gino. Yeah. You've been there the whole time. You put just as much of your time, just as much of your blood, just as much of your sweat into it. You know. Yeah. You weren't like some part-time that turned up like, you know, once every 2 weeks and just chucked. You know, no, you had to be there. You were expected to be there. You were expected to be a soldier, and so you own part of this. But so you know, the end was obvious. I didn't want it to end. I didn't want it to split up, but it was basically handed to me on a plate. You know, and I had no choice.
And now, roll it on many years. You're residing in New York, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I've been for a long time. Slightly different tack there, playing with a band called Black 47, which has had a great success. As you know, different approach, Celtic rock band, but still with a lot of soul influence, a lot of reggae influence, as well as the traditional sort of music kind of influence, which is great fun to play, by the way, as well. You know, great live band. You know, never made the best records, I don't think, but like fantastic live band. We're wrapping it up after this many years because we decided we've done what, you know, said everything we can say, go out on a high, you know, go on our own terms, and so I'm looking for a few, you know, obviously I'll be pushing the show. I'd like to think a bit more. Anybody's, you know, I'm looking to maybe get involved with a couple of new projects, which could be really interesting. I'm happy to do it here or the States, wherever, you know. Sure. No, I mean, it's like, you know, I spent as much time this year over here as I have back in New York, actually. Still got like, loads of family and everything here, so, you know, we've...
You're a Solihull boy. You were born in Solihull, weren't you?
I was actually born in Leamington.
Oh, right, okay.
But I moved around quite a lot. I spent a little bit of time in Plymouth. I spent time in Yorkshire. Yeah. You know, when I was a kid, my dad moved around a lot with his job. But yeah, most of my time going to secondary school was in Solihull. Yeah.
What secondary school did you go to in Solihull?
It was called Harold Malley. I don't think it exists anymore.
Oh, never heard that.
Harold Malley School, yes. And no, it wasn't. Just right after I left, actually, they did the big shake-up of the schools there. And I think it merged with the schools because it was an all-boys school. Across the street was the girls' school called Harold Cartwright, and I think they merged together. And if I'm not mistaken, it became Alderbrook School. I don't know if that still exists. On the Blossomfield Road.
Yeah, purple uniform and hats.
Purple uniform, yeah, that was horrible, man. Purple blazers. And the purple and grey striped ties, you know that?
Yeah, Alderbrook, yeah.
And Tudor Grange was kind of further up the road round the corner.
Even more posh.
Oh, that was posh. Our school wasn't posh. Our school had actually come... Originally, it was more like a technical school. Yeah. In fact, its thing on its blazer had a picture like a cogwheel on it. Yeah. You know, and it was kind of glorified technical. Yeah, Tudor Grange is kind of posh. Not as posh as Solihull School, though. That's really posh.
The further you go out there, I'm from North Solihull. Yeah. We were the polar opposite in North Solihull. How difficult do you find promoting your material now in this age? How receptive are record companies, radio stations to you?
Here's the thing. It's very, very different. Yeah. In some ways, promoting it's easier because we can do a lot of it ourselves. I mean, because you've got like the whole social media. Yeah. So you got the whole Facebook thing going on. Facebook. I mean, I know people get like addicted to Facebook, but like people like us use Facebook essentially as a promotion tool for like the music we do. Record companies basically cease to exist unless you're like Beyonce or Lady Gaga. Yeah. I know people are trying to get, and I would like I want to say this to Stone Foundation too. They're like crying because they don't have a record deal with the company. Are you sure you want one? Because I've heard some horror stories of people that have got deals with record companies and they're never going to see a penny.
Yeah.
Because the record company's going to say, I'm going to put like all this money into this, and it's like basically you're only going to spend the rest of your life paying them back.
Yeah.
You know, and they're going to tie you down what they call a 360-degree deal, which means they get most of everything, including your T-shirt sales at your gigs, your album sales at your gigs. It's like everything. They want everything now.
Yeah.
Promotion is like, so in a sense, it's no. This is almost. It's weird. Talk about a double-edged sword. It's like, you know, God and the devil are the same thing. Yes. In a sense, it's never been easier to get your stuff heard. Also, like G.I. Blythe, I'm getting like huge amounts of plays on Spotify. I'm getting thousands of people listening to G.I. Blythe on Spotify. But Spotify don't pay me any money.
Exactly.
So if I was getting, if those thousands of people were paying like, even if they're paying like 10p a shot, I'd be like doing quite well.
Yeah.
But I'm not getting paid, you know, like 0.0001 of a penny or something like that.
Yeah.
You know. I think I actually did get a check off them for like £15, £20 or something like that, which meant I couldn't believe, man, this means a shitload of people listen to my stuff, right?
so there's definitely a market for your material.
But this is the big problem that independent music, and I really worry. I said I hope things will sort themselves out. Worry about the future of creative independent music is that you can't afford to do it.
Exactly.
And then again, you sit there with your laptop. So like, I tell you, it's Tony Visconti actually, because you know I'm friends with him on Facebook. So there's a comment he made on Facebook. You know, for those of you that might not know, Tony Visconti, a famous producer, T-Rex, and etc. You know, said that really creative music is going to go like the next big hits. Either so corporately controlled, or it's going to be by some banker who's done it with his own computer in his living room. You know, because he's got the money to do it. So worry about the future. So on one hand, it's never been easier, to do this and get this out. But it's still, if you want to make a really great album, it costs like a lot of money.
Do you know, it's the same answers I'm getting from every artist, every musician that I'm hooking up with, and that's why I do this, because the commercial radio setup is so controlled, so watered down, so manufactured, it repulses me. And you've got radio stations, their job is to find stars, find talent, play great records. It's nothing like finding a record. You hear a song, back of the next song. This Stone Foundation that's on with you tonight, they produce back of the net songs. They are superb, aren't they?
Yeah, I know. Well, as I say, it's wonderful that people like this, are still. I mean, because there are those of us that we just have to do. We have to do what we do. We didn't do this to get rich, obviously. We picked the wrong frigging job, But no, we didn't do this because it's what we have to do. It's like I was born to do this.
Exactly.
But I don't feel like I had a choice in this, This is what I'm on this planet to do. And I think there's a lot of really good people around that feel like that. I mean, whatever your style is as well.
Exactly.
I mean, you don't have to be like, particularly like what I'm into. You could be into like another thing, but still like being like really creative, like really doing something happening, But
keep it real.
It's getting very, very. I mean, it's all not that it wasn't always hard. To like earn bread to put on the table when you're doing something like this, but it's harder than ever. And the worst thing is, in a sense, it's become now easy to appear to be quite successful. And you still can't put bread on the table.
Oh well. There's always tomorrow.
There's always tomorrow.
There's always next month and next year.
There's always a good pint.
Oh, I'll tell you what, it's superb, isn't it? Great little venue. Birmingham is the home of some tremendous venues. That downstairs, it's almost like a dungeon. And long live.
And it's funny, Birmingham, it's like Birmingham's it's got in my soul, man. It's like, this is the third time I've been here this year. I don't live in New York. This is the third time I've been here in under a year. So, it's almost like
you're getting a few air miles in, Jeff.
Well, yeah, but it's like kind of reminds me of Al Pacino in The Godfather 3, it's like, I keep trying to get out, but they're pulling me back in.
That's the thing with this city. It's in the heart of England. It's a beating heart. Once you're in, you can't get out, mate.
That's right.
Anyhow, have a cracking night.
Nice
Good
talking
luck
to
with
you.
the book. And I'm going to have a chat with the guy that's
Yeah,
put the
please
photo.
do that. Oh, you
Chuck
should
him
do
over.
that.
Where
Yeah.
is he?
Mike, he's around somewhere.
Nah, he's at the bar, isn't he?
He's at the bar. That's all right. I'm going to meet him in a minute.
Jeff, thanks, mate. Cheers, pal.
Working hard for 90 hours for that $100 bill. I've been working hard for 90 hours for that $100 bill. The 90 hours came and went, and I am waiting for that money still. 90 hours came and went, and that $100 has been spent. Don't say that you can't afford to pay after taking up all my time. Come on, and it has to be the day, 'cause you are only holding on to what is mine. I start at the break of day, I work through the midnight. Start at the break of day and work through the midnight. And hit that hammer one more time, coming down the line. Skin 'em up and move 'em out, and give that hammer some more clout. Don't say that you can't afford to pay after taking up all my time. Come on, and it has to be the day, 'cause you were only holding on to what is mine. Pay is at the bottom line. I work on the coaster. My pay is on the bottom line. Yes, I work on the coaster. I give it all my heart and soul, just to add a little to my dough. And now they wanna lay me off for someone else who's even worse off. Don't say that you can't afford to pay after taking up all my time. Well, come on, and it has to be the day, 'cause you are only holding on to what is mine. Come on, what is that you say? Don't tell me that you can't afford to pay. Come on, and it has to be the day, 'cause you are only holding on to what is mine. Yeah, the what is mine. You know it, know it, know it's mine. Yeah, what is mine.
Join me now. When people write a book, it ain't just one person. There's a collection. It's like a band. You couldn't have the Jam without Bruce and Rick, the greatest band, God's band. Voila.
That's it, you got it, yeah.
So when we're talking about books, one of the massive players behind the book, my mate Stu Deeble, says, Gabby, you've got to have a word with Snowy. Snowy's a top man, and he's done the Thick as Thieves, he's done the OCS. I want you to tell me all about this wonderful book and your thoughts and how you got started and got into it, Snowy.
Right, okay. I think for each, well, the two things is, I love music,
Yeah.
I love history,
Yeah.
alright, and I love biographies, talking to people. So I think what I found was a bit of a niche in the market, which is obviously nothing new, but we've gone about a way of going about trying to do books that you're getting people that are around bands, that were in bands, i.e. the Jam or Oasis or Asian Colour Scene or Dexys, who were part of that story.
Yes.
So what I'm trying to do is find books that can tell that story through the mouths of the people that were there.
Yeah.
And rather than just coming from one person, i.e., the author at the time, try to get different people's perceptions and experiences of what was going on.
Yeah.
So it's so simple in essence. What you do then you get something that's very colourful, very diverse. And at the end of the day, Jeff Blythe's experience of being in Dexys is Jeff's experience of being in Dexys.
Exactly.
Kevin Rowland's experience is his experience. Now, they both might look at a pint of beer and see a pint of beer, but one might see it slightly different than the other. That's his experience, and that is all it is. Yeah. So doing the Dexys book was more about what a great album.
Yeah.
It meant a lot to me when I got it.
Yeah.
I knew a lot of my peers and friends. It meant a lot to them. It's never stopped. So that just carried on. So I thought, right, who do I know from Dexys? And I knew Jeff.
Yeah.
Okay, so I knew Jeff. Right, Jeff, I want to do this book. This is the angle I want to do. I want it to be a celebration of the Searching Down Soul Rebels album.
Yeah.
Purely and simply a celebration. And no, it means a lot to me. It means a lot of people. I need your narrative. I need your experience of being in it.
Yeah.
Great, fantastic. Right, who did the photographs? Bit of research. Look at the album sleeves. Oh, Mike Lay. Who's Mike Lay? Let's find out. Okay. Oh, Mike does some stuff on the Clash. All right. Oh, now it's what really all coming together. Right. So then you get in two people's input into the book. This is telling the story. Yeah. That's unique. That is a one-off, and they lived it. They were around it. Yeah. So as a fan, in the first instance, when I sat down and heard these stories from both Mike and Jeff, I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing because it means a lot to me. And it brings the whole thing to life in a different dynamic, albeit 30-something years down the line.
Yeah.
And then you start getting a history book about an event that happened in history from certain people's perception. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah, I love it. Yeah, from that standpoint. Yeah.
And Dexys we're about the same age, aren't we? We're about 50-ish.
Not quite, but yes, it's
round that mark.
Yeah.
So we grew up. I'm from your accent, around the London area.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the thing with that album at the time, we were. I mean, I was a huge Jam fan by then.
Yeah.
So I already discovered all that sort of stuff. There was something about the Searching Down Soul Rebels album that transcended all the different tribes that were going on. So I lived in an area that was predominantly, your mods, your skinheads, your punks and all that, and your rude boys, which of course was all happening around 1980. But what I found was, or what I witnessed, was that when any of those songs, There, Them, A Deal, Gino were played at discos that you had, and you had your different tribes in each corner of the room, each getting their 10 minutes of songs, they all liked the Dexys stuff. So there's something about that collection of songs, the way they were played, and the people that were playing it that worked. I mean, there they were, rough rip, great look. Yeah, all right, we were wearing bros, and then them over there were wearing donkey jackets. Yeah. Those over there, the souls had the bags, and so what Dexys done was, were rolling, put it behind it, put all this stuff together. So you could, it kind of gave a nod to all these different tribes that were going on. So people accepted it, and the songs were great, and there's never been an album like it. That's the thing, isn't it? I suppose, nothing compares to it. It's almost like it doesn't belong. You know what I mean? And it is. Which is why it still sounds as good today to me. I'm sure to a lot of people as it did back then. It will always be my top 10 best albums. So.
They were like a big melting pot. The Midlands, we had the specials, as you say. We had the Selector, we had the Two Tone, we had Dexys, we had UB40. Going further out of the country, we had so many bands that we could connect with as kids. Before the jam and before like the punk and the specials, like a bionic broom swept through the nation, got rid of all the rubbish and give us kids something that we could attach ourselves to. Songs that meant something, lyricists and they're having it on the stage and we're going like, wow, it's happening, it's exciting, it's vibrant. Absolutely. To catch that now in books, years on when we're older geezers, it's fantastic for you as well.
The resonance, Searching Down Soul Rebels can't find them anywhere. You know what I mean? Still sounds the same to me when I hear it as it did back then. And you think, how can that be? With 30 years of experience later down the line, and yet that still touches something, and you think that is, and I'm sure that is a shared. And I'm convinced it's a shared experience, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Other people. And what does that mean? Well, it means something different to each individual, but it's a still thing that it ignites, it sparks, it still keeps things alive. And then you know, I look around. I don't think anyone's really grown up in that sense. You know what I mean?
We don't
It's
do
still
it.
there. No,
Football, music fans, we do not grow up. We grow old.
Yeah,
We don't grow
well,
up.
yeah, you said Stuart Jeeble. I mean, it's you know, I mean, you talk about him. I mean, he sort of used that phrase, and you know, the Holy Trinity, you know, football, fashion, and music.
Yeah.
That's all. That was the trilogy of what our lives are built on, and it's no different now because it don't get caught anymore. You know what I mean? It's different. You know, it's great.
Any favourite track on the album? Have you got one that stands out? You think, oh, proper.
At the end of the day, you know, it's got to be. Yeah, I mean, after that, I think it closes an album, and it's the sentiment attached to it. It's the drive. By that point, you feel like you've been on a journey.
Yeah.
And it all makes sense, which is why at the end of the book, it was Mike's idea to have at the end of the book the image of the back of someone walking away, but walking away into what? You know, that's the journey of the next 30 years. Yeah, it can be interpreted in so many different ways, but you know, I look at it, it says something to me, means something to me, and it's just great. You know?
How difficult or how easy was it for you to write that book? How long did it take you?
Well, again, it's a collaboration of words, isn't it? I mean, I mean, you've got to mention a guy called Pete McKenna in amongst all this. I mean, Pete, he was a massive Northern Soul fan, still is, you know. But you know, he started going Ring Casino when he was 17 years old. He'd only been open 3 months. He was there for the beginning, and he basically stayed for 8 years until it shut in 1981. But what he said was, when the casino and Northern Soul's heyday was over, by about 78, 79, he says, pretty much done. Although the club carried on a couple of years, he said, then all of a sudden people were a little bit like, well, where do we go next? You know what I mean? And then that album come out. He said, and it meant, it appealed to that soul crowd that come up the northern route, you know. And he was banging on about this idea to me about 5 years ago. We couldn't quite find an angle to do it. I was like, I'm not sure, Pete. How, you know, don't really know anyone. How can we do it? But then we did Thick of Seas, we've done Supersonic, we did a couple of other sort of books that incorporated other people's stories in it, and I thought, there's the angle, you know. And then you had, you know, two people right at the core of it in Jeff and Mike, you know what I mean? So it was like, there you've got two products there. How best to, you know, use that product and tell a story. So so it came together. So in the end, 5 months maybe, to bring it together, the actual sort of text and talk to people. And for this book, I didn't want it to be as heavy as something like Thick of Seas. I didn't want as many fans. I wanted there was something about the book that needed, I think, to be more concise, crisp, snappy. That's kind of togetherness. So I literally just, cherry picked a few people. So I knew certain people like Neil Warburton, Ian Jennings, Paolo Hewitt. There were certain individuals I thought they'd have something to say about this as value. And as we did with the book, we invited a few more people in that they contacted me and said, I've heard you doing this book, this means a lot to me, can I write something for it? Of course you can write something for it, and that's that kind of inclusivity that I wanted for it. So.
Now how can we hook up and get the book? I mean, obviously now it's at the Flapper. By the time this gets broadcast, we're long gone. We ain't at the Flapper no more. Is it on Amazon? Have you got a website? How can people listening to this broadcast get their hands on this fantastic piece of work that you've produced?
Well, I think the first port of call is Countdown Books, which is www.countdownbooks.com. That goes direct to them, and I think after tonight they will have a certain amount of signed copies. And then after that, it's your normal drag of Amazon and Waterstones HMV. I think it'll be up and running there in about 2 or 3 weeks. It normally takes 2 or 3 weeks for them to stock it. So those are your main outlets, really, to get it out there. But they can always contact Countdown Books, and they will put you in touch with Mike or Jeff or anyone, really.
Super. Moving on to the photographer.
He's the wordsmith.
You had the hardest job of the lot, didn't you?
I'll just show you a picture of what I did.
Let's have a look at some of those pictures. I mean,
that's the cover.
I mean, it's the 8-piece there, just as you would think Dexys, with the donkey jackets, the old dolls, and the look.
This is the opening spread here. This is the one we wanted, because this to me sums the whole thing up. This is the first picture I took of the band.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know them from Adam.
How did you hook up with the band?
Well, I was trying to be a photographer. And it was 1977, and it was punk, and I was pretty much a punk photographer. I knew nothing about it. And I was sort of eking out, doing bits and bobs of work to try and keep myself alive whilst I took pictures. and I hooked up with Bernie Rhodes, you know, the Clash, and
I think we're going to be having the same check. I think we're going to go outside. Hold on, we'll just turn this on and start again. Blimey, there was a fair amount of reverb on that one.
So yeah, I was working with Bernie Rhodes. At the time, I was sort of managing Subway Sec. That was looking after Subway Sec. That was my job, and earning a few bob doing that, and trying to take pictures. And then one day, Bernie said, "Oh, I've got this new band, Dexys Midnight Runners from Birmingham." And he said, "They're great." He said, "They bunk the trains all the time." He said, "What I want you to do, go down Euston Station and get a picture of them bunking the train coming over the barrier." So I said, "Oh, okay, fine." So I didn't know them, as I said, I didn't know them from Adam. So I go down to Euston Station and I meet up with them. They're on one side of the barrier, so I'm on the other. I said, "Oh, hi, how you doing? You know, I'm the photographer." "Oh, great." So I said, "Well, what they want is a picture of you jumping over the barriers." And there's this West Indian guy, the BR man there, and I said, "Look, mate, do you mind if we take some pictures of this?" And he says, "No, that's all right. Go on, get on with it." So he's a bit offish at first, but in the end, he let us do it. And so I could only do 4 because the flash took an amount of time to reach. I had to use flash, obviously, down in the station, and then jumping, you know, it was too fast. I had to freeze it, you know. And the flash took a few seconds to recharge, and he wasn't going to be that patient. So I actually got 4 shots. So it's amazing that we actually got one where Kevin's actually looking at the camera, and everybody looks halfway decent. So anyway, we did the pictures. Everybody's happy with it. I said, "Oh, got the picture now, thanks very much," to the guy, and he said, "That's all right," and we walked away. And at that point we realised they actually had just bunked the trains because they didn't have any tickets to get out, and doing the shot had got them out of the station. So that was my introduction to them, and you know, I got on well with them. I mean, the big thing about working with them in the first place was how much of a team they were. They really were, genuinely. They were solid. They had a really good. People say a gang, but I don't really agree with a gang, because a gang sort of sounds like a bit of menace in it. You know, these weren't people who were going to beat you up and rob you or anything. It was more like a team. It was more like a football team. You know, they played together and everybody had their strengths. And throughout the whole time I worked with them, and it wasn't very long. You know, I mean, I took that picture in November '79 here, this first one. And the last one that closes the book of Stoker, which was for the back cover of the album of Young Soul Rebels, that was in July '80. And by September, October, the whole thing had fallen apart. So we're only talking about a period of about 11 months. That the whole thing, and that's the whole book is about that. It's about that first. It's not a book about Dexys. It's a book about this Dexys, this band that made this album.
Exactly. It's the searching for the Young Soul Rebels, the book, that album.
That's exactly it. And that's what I want. That's the material I've got. I worked with them during that period, and I became sort of a part of the team, if you like. I was included, and I did sort of worked on all their kind of presentation and how they appeared in pictures and all that stuff. So there's lots of pictures around with them in the woolly hats, but all of those poses and things we worked up from the beginning. You know, that's how we did it. And so this particular Dexys was a really strong group of people, really strong team that worked together. And it was tragic what happened in the end, that it all fell apart, because it shouldn't have done. It should have gone on, and it should have done more great work after. Some people say, "Oh, it's like James Dean, you know, you don't want to see James Dean bald and at 70. Well, I don't agree with that, because I know all of the guys in the band, and I've seen what they've gone on and done afterwards. You know, what Kevin Archer went on and did with Blue Ox Babes, what the rest of the guys went on and did with the Bureau, what Jeff's done, what each of them have come up with. I mean, Pete Williams, the bass player, has got his own band, these Tender Virtues, then went on and did his own work. Fantastic songwriter, and all of that was going into the band, and would have gone in and made it. So it was a bit of a car crash, an unfortunate one from my point of view. But this is a celebration of that first Dexys and what they did, and they were brilliant to work with, because they had this this team thing. If you said something to them like, we need to do this, like one I took at the top of Aston looking out over Birmingham. It's in the book. It's a real hero picture.
Yeah.
It's lit only by a street lamp and a set of car lights. There's no flash. It's moody because the whole of the city's laid out behind. You can see all the lights, and it genuinely is taken at dusk. You could hardly see. I had the camera on the tripod. I needed them to stand absolutely stock still for about half a second whilst we got the picture. And so I explained to them what it was. They liked the sound of it, and they were absolutely rock solid still for half a second. That's hard to do, but that's the kind of discipline that was in there. Nobody sort of going, "Oh, what are we doing? What are we doing?" No, everybody was focused there. And there's another great story I tell in here about the video for Gino, which I worked on. I was called up by Corky, their manager, then to come up to Birmingham and go to a club that he'd organised, and they got EMI Records were doing a video. Well, the band thought that they were doing a proper pop video, but actually when we got there we found out they weren't. EMI weren't going to pay for that. They just paid for one guy to come up, and all they really wanted was the band playing live in this club so that they could put it on foreign TV programmes of the band playing live, like Top of the Pops going in. And the band didn't like that at all. They said, no, we've got to have some stuff of us, you know, the team that meets in Cass, we want to be seen walking around. And this woman from EMI said, no, we're not doing that, you're just playing, that's all you're going to do, we're just going to play the song through. So backwards and forwards, it went backwards and forwards, me and the director trying to organise it. And I wasn't even getting paid to be there, I was just going up as a mate kind of thing to help them look good, you know. And so eventually they said, well, let's start. So the guy puts it on playback for Gino. Go into it, they're great, they're going to with great gusto. We get to the first verse, everybody freezes. Absolutely static, like statues. What's going on? Get to the end of the verse, go into the chorus, bang, everybody's back in again, like they hadn't stopped. I'm going, I don't know what's going on here. The woman comes over to me from the English, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on? I said, I have no idea. She said, well, find out. So I go to the band and say, what's going on? They said, well, they're not going to do anything, you know, outside. This will force them, because if they haven't got any footage of us playing the first verse, they'll have to put something in. So I went back to her and I said, well, this is what they do. She said, they can't do that, that's blackmail. Off she went, director's going, I can't be dictated to like this. And so in the end, he came up with a compromise. He said, well, all right. He said, I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll take them out and we'll do a bit of footage around about, and then we'll come back in again. I get them going out and I hear muttering from the band behind, oh, he's not got any film in the camera, he's not got any film in the camera. Do this stuff, come back in again. I say, they're saying you haven't got any film in the camera. He said, yeah, of course I have, of course I have. So I said, right, okay, fine. So they went through the song, I don't know, 8 times. Yeah. The whole 8 times, they never played, they never moved at all during the first verse. They froze. Drummer with his sticks over there, sax in the air, JB like this. Everybody absolutely froze. And Kevin, nobody moved. As soon as it came bang, you wouldn't think they'd have stopped. And if you go and watch it now, you'll see that what happens is that they've got live footage first, and they haven't got any live footage of the thing. All they've got is them walking around the streets of Birmingham in caps and so on, with a little bit of cutaways that are actually out of time with the music, just to have something different, and then it goes back into the song again. She was absolutely furious. EMI, absolutely furious. And of course, Dave Cork, the manager, had dumped me in it because he didn't turn up. So everybody going, where's the manager? And he, I was the guy who was having to deal with it all. I'd take all the flack. Anyway, worked out. It's a great video, and it's still playing now on YouTube. You still go and see it.
It's amazing how things work. You know, where people just look at the video and think, all right, that's all right. Yeah. But the stories behind, and the stories behind the lens as well. In the album, the middle of the album, there's a group picture of the boys. They all look a kind of vacant way. They all look so they're drunk, to be fair. Were they?
No. Never drunk. I never saw them drunk. No, the thing about them was that everything that they did, they did together. And they were solid with it. And there's some great stories in there. I've got a couple more stories in there. There's some other stuff, other contributions that other people have made of their memories. And the one thing that everybody says is that when they did it, they were rock solid. You couldn't get them to do something they didn't want to do. If you tried, they wouldn't do it. I'd worked with big bands before. I worked with UB40, for instance, and that was awful. That was like herding cats. You know, you could never get all of them together in one place. There'd always be somebody who had to leave early, and somebody who didn't come till late, and then somebody couldn't come at all because they'd gone out shopping. It was awful. Great band, but you know, it was like herding cats. Dexys were never like that. The opposite.
Yeah.
They were there. They were focused. They did it. They wouldn't do anything they didn't want to do.
Yeah.
If they said they'd do it, you got absolutely 100% laser focused, and that's why they were a great band on stage. I'm saying the UB40 weren't a great band,
sure.
but the thing about Dexys on stage was they had that intensity.
Yeah.
You know, Kevin would be there, and then they turned me from a professional photographer come to do a gig into a fan. You know, I was there at the end in my woolly hat and like everybody else, and donkey jacket like everybody else. Because what they did was, Kevin had this great way as a front man of forcing you to this intensity, like a showman, like a medicine man in the old Wild West or something. You know, wind the audience up. Even the toughest audience, I've seen him play to really evil audiences, and not very big ones. You know, so you can't even get away with it because you know you're looking some hard nut straight in the eyes, and he will still take it all the way to the intensity. He'll still tell them, you know, shut your fucking mouth till you know the score. You know, he'll tell you absolutely straight. Take them right to the edge of embarrassment, and then blast them with horns and keyboards and drums. You know, to blast the thing away. That's why everybody was so passionate about them. They were fantastic live band, live, the best I've ever seen. Really, Prince would probably be my second. Yeah. Because of a fantastically disciplined show, high energy. But Dexys, the emotion they put into it, you know, they took the best out of punk and they took the best out of soul and they fused them together with real attitude, and they were the best band ever, in my book.
How many pictures have you got in the book of yours? Approximately?
I guess there's about 200, I suppose.
Blimey.
There's, I think there's 140 pages, of which about 80 are pictures, and there's live stuff, and there's post stuff we did for press and so on as well. So it's pretty much my catalogue, my archive of Dexys. And it pretty much covers everything. I'm really pleased with it. I'm really pleased to have got the work out, because you know, you get one picture used here, you get one picture used there, but it's nice to put it all together and like Ian was saying, it's a history, and without being boring or academic about it, it's a history book, and it captures a moment in time with a really brilliant band. And the best thing is, you've got a soundtrack to it as well. You can pick up the book, put on the album, and blast yourself away.
Do you know, like a Meatloaf song, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Must have been while you were kissing me, but we're not doing that.
We're not. I'm going back up the bar. See you later. Hey mate, cheers for your time.
No, thank you.
Anybody out there, you've got the album, get the book.
Yeah,
fantastic.
It, I think.
Top drawer.
Some beautiful pictures.
I'm going to go and get my book signed there by JB.
Good.
Cheers, pal. Thanks for your time. Cheers, mate. Nice one.
It's RBRadio.com.
There's more than one thing I need to ask you. Yes, you're so anti-fashion, so we're instead of dressing down all the same. It's if I look like that, I gotta split my desire. Let me explain, but you never see. You're like a dumb patriot. Yes, you're the fucking be so angry when I fight. Let me benefit from your right. You're the only way to change it, to show me who raised it.
I've been searching for the young soul rebels. I've been searching everywhere. I can't find them everywhere. Where have you hidden them? Maybe you should welcome a new soul vision. Welcome a new soul vision. Welcome a new soul vision. Welcome. You know the only one to tell you is you better arrest me. Rather than try and explain. You never see.
Joining me now, what an event. An event needs a manager. An event needs someone to stick it all together. The man with the hat. Ian, how are you? And Leeds won for you as well today.
Well, apparently there were 2-0 up with 5 minutes to go. You never know with that lot, the way this season's been going. It's been I always put on Facebook every game, mockery of a sham, because that's what it's been. But we're not here to talk about Leeds. We're here to talk about good music.
Tell me about it. Tell me about the event. How difficult, how easy. This is banging. This is one of the best events that Birmingham's had all year.
Well, it's a strange one. I was involved many years ago with an event to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the Searching for the Young Rebels album. When this book was muted, I got a phone call asking would I be involved, would I contribute to the book, and the next thing I know I ended up organising it, and because of my involvement with certain bands, the 2 bands I wanted to come here was Stone Foundation, who since that event in 2010 have just gone leaps and bounds, a tremendous band. And Archie Brown and the Young Bucks, who I've known for many, many years. Archie was in the Bureau, the Upset, who very Dexys influence. Sorry, he'll kill me if I say influence. He has been around the Dexys scene for many, many years. So I just thought that was the natural thing for tonight. And so tonight at the Flapper, or I don't know when this is going out, so Saturday gone in the Flapper, 2 great bands, great event. Dexys, Searching for the Young Rebels, arguably the greatest debut album of all time.
Iconic.
Well, I heard you on the radio not so long ago saying revolutionary, and I think your co-presenter was saying, I don't know what you mean by that, but I'm thinking at the time, when I was 15, and all the music that was around there, and there was an 8-piece white soul band. Playing Northern Soul with a punk edge. I mean, how revolutionary is that? I mean, ska was one thing, but the soul sound was just unheard of, especially in Birmingham, which was a hotbed of heavy metal. I mean, it's an heavy metal town, is Birmingham. I mean, I'm from North Yorkshire, and we kind of take everything in because we've got nothing. Northern Soul's a big thing to us in where I'm from.
Running Water's something to you up there.
Running Water's tea. With milk or sugar or tea, in fact, is brilliant. But yeah, so Dexys and that first album, I remember, and I said in the interview that I did for the book was, when I'm that age at 15, I want to be part of a gang. And when I saw them, that gang, and I know the word gang is used in many other connotations at the moment, but that tribe, that gang, I just wanted to be part of it, and I just wish I wanted to. I wish I was part of it. You know, obviously too young, but I followed them in music all my life. I've been on tour with them, I've been around Europe with them, and it's been an incredible journey. And it started with that album, Searching for the Young Soul Rebels.
It's a movement, isn't it? And you're right, it's a way of life. It's music is, as we're looking out here at the Flapper, we're looking at a canal. Music is like a river. It just twists and
we're looking at some old guys on a canal boat here, and they have lived. You know what I mean? And I bet they've seen a few. I've seen a few. I bet they've seen a few gigs. I don't think they've seen Dexys. You know what I mean? But I mean, you say about way of life. I mean, we have a saying in the Northern Soul scene. It's a way of life, and it's a kind. I don't know how all fair your listeners are with Northern Soul, but if I had to explain it, you wouldn't understand. And that's the way we look at it, because unless you've experienced it, you wouldn't understand. And when I was getting into Northern Soul as a teenager, Dexys covered a couple of Northern Soul tracks. Now on the Northern Soul scene, that's frowned on, because they don't want it to be popular. They don't want their music to go out into the mainstream. I'm thinking, hang on a minute, Where did that come from? Bring Down the Walls of Arctic? Who did that originally? Where did 7 Days Too Long come from originally? Northern Soul. Yeah. Suddenly I've become a devotee of Northern Soul thanks to the Search of the Young Soul Rebel, so it's all full circle. And just recently I've been to a Northern Soul weekender, so I'm still doing it.
Yeah.
I'm still around the Northern Soul scene. I've been doing it for 30 years, and it's all because of that first album of Dexys.
That is a scene that's it's unreal, isn't it? The attachment that people get. There's probably no other scene like that.
I can't think of any. I mean, the race scene came on in the 90s, but it was nothing to. I mean, Northern Soul, it was always about the music.
Yeah.
Whereas the race scene was probably more drugs. I'm not saying there were no drugs in the Northern Soul scene, but we're not going to talk about that now.
Dexys.
Exactly.
That's,
I mean, where
the drugs.
Exactly. That's where they got the name from.
Exactly.
But what I'm saying is, the scene itself, the Dexys. The Northern Soul scene was the Northern Soul scene. There's never been anything like it, and there never will be. It's been on the go since the 1960s, and it's stronger now than ever. Yeah. If you Google Northern Soul Birmingham, there will be a do-on this weekend somewhere. No, you Google Northern Soul York, Leeds, where I'm from, up in the north. Down south, St Ives, Cornwall, London, there is Northern Soul everywhere. It's never gone away. They called it a cult music scene, but it's become more than that now. Yeah, very much so.
And the Stone Foundation, what a band to have gigging here tonight.
Well, I remember coming across Stone Foundation. When I reunited the Bureau, which was the 5 members of the Bureau, Dexys left Dexys in 1981, formed the Bureau. I reunited them in 2002, 2003. They finally got back together in 2005 and gigged. And Stone Foundation did an acoustic support act, so I've known them since 2005, but they didn't really do anything for me. And then in 2010, when I got this 30th anniversary, they rang me and said, can we play at this gig, because we are massive Dexys fans. So I went to see them supporting Candy Staton at the Bilston, the Robin 2 at Bilston, because Mick Talbot, who was in the Style Council, he was in Dexys and he was in the Bureau, and I've got to know him through my connections with the Bureau or whatever, and he said, I'll put you on the guest list, come and see Candy. I've seen him loads of times with Candy, what a performer. But anyway, so I went down, Stone Foundation blew me away. They were just the greatest band I've seen for years and years and years. Northern Soul, funk, an edge to them, you know what I mean? The singer, where did he get that voice from?
I don't know.
You know, and this is what I said to him once, you know what I mean, about you sat in your council house as a teenager, listening to that black American soul music, and there's a connection there, and I'm thinking, that's where your voice come from, a council house estate in Tamworth, listening to that black American soul music, and I know exactly where he come from, and I know exactly where I come from, and following that music. Great band, they should be everywhere, because they're the best band around, especially live.
But how frustrating is it for people that know you're preaching to the converted here? They should be absolutely huge. They should be able to sell out Wembley Stadium. They're that good.
Well, unfortunately, the music's governed by TV.
Exactly.
You know, and that's the way it is. I mean, my good friend Archie, who's playing tonight, Archie Brown, I mean, he knows I'm trying to get into the events thing and promoting and things like that. But if I want to make money, I've got to get something that the 15, 16-year-old kids are buying. And unfortunately, I don't want to do that.
No, same here.
So I'm not going to work. I'm not going to earn any money. I'm losing money tonight, for God's sake. But everybody's going to walk out of here tonight thinking, what a great night. And that's unfortunately the way music industry is. One day, some multi-millionaire is going to say, greatest band in the world, bang them a load of money. But that's not going to happen. But that don't mean to say that they're not good and they're not successful, because they're selling out venues all over the country. They entered the UK independent charts at number 33, sorry. Arctic Monkeys were number 1, so everybody who ridicules the UK independent album charts, you've got to remember Arctic Monkeys are number 1 in that. So for Stone Foundation, who was self-funded, no manager, no promotion, to reach number 33 in the national charts is a tremendous thing. More people want to listen to them because they're the best thing around, without a shadow of a doubt.
We on sports radio keep playing them, keep plugging them. You know, if I was told to play songs, I wouldn't do it. If I was to, you know, a BRMB or one of these commercial radio FM things, events, and it says, Gabby, come with your microphone, interview One Direction, rather jump in that canal and swim it, and I can't swim.
Listen, I don't blame these kids for doing what they're doing, because they're going to have a very they're going to have an unbelievable journey and an unbelievable life. But there's something pure and special about being involved in the music scene, like Northern Soul, like Stone Foundation, like Archie Brown, music that not everybody knows about, but once they hear it once, I guarantee you this, they will go back for more and more and more, and that's what music should be about. Once you've heard it once, they'll go back again, and there's no better bands than this that are on tonight at this event. Fantastic music.
Well, superb. Big up for you putting the event on.
Hey, and up Leeds United, marching on together.
Hey, we're playing you soon.
I know we are. It's going to be the worst 0-0 draw in the history of football.
Oh, I tell you what, I think the police forces are hoping it's going to be 0-0 and they're both safe as well.
Well, I remember dark days in the 80s when we had the tragedy at St Andrews. So I mean, things have moved on since then. But listen, Birmingham are in a mess. Leeds are in a mess. We've got the mafia involved in us now.
We got triads.
You've got triads who were locked up for years, you know. So all we want is a bright spot. We want. Where's Billy Bremner when you need him? Where's Bob Latchford when you need him? That's what we want. God bless you. Anyway.
Hey mate, cheers. Keep right on.
All the best.
Ta-da.
There goes Bentley, legs swinging just above the ground. His hands tied behind his back and nothing to see. This is the 8 o'clock shift. The 8 o'clock hand strikes 9 times as he fell before his time into the big blue black. Here I am standing on the brink, the edge of my madness. Oh, the sadness just overcomes me. I will break my own head so that someone's dead just for your sweet revenge. There's a heinous crime, and someone here is gonna pay for this. Too bad that you're the only one that's old enough now. Well, all of us here understand you never held a gun, but we're gonna prove to everyone that justice has been done. Here I am standing on the brink, the edge of my madness. Oh, the sadness just overcomes me. I will break my own head so that someone's dead just for your sweet revenge.
Joining me now on the show, two legends, two music gods, Archie and
Pat.
How you doing? Tell me all about what you're here to do today, supporting, but you shouldn't be supporting, you're a Bruro man.
Well, you know, whatever. It's to do with this book, the Dexys book that's come out. So Vic Ferrari has organised a gig with Stone Foundation and asked to play, you know, some good music to go with it. So we're down here to sink a few beers and make a few friends, hopefully, you know, and play some music.
Isn't that what music's all about?
That's it.
Sing a few beers and make a few friends. It's it. Nothing ever changes, does it?
No, it's the same.
That's why you joined the band,
and you
right?
don't get any richer either, but it's sweet, you know.
But the kind of music people, they're proper music people, never been in it for that. They're in it because they love it and the passion.
Well, if they were, they'd have stopped long ago. You know what I mean? It's like the ones that are still going, like, as my age, you know what I mean? We obviously got to love it otherwise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, and I still do.
And you've also sang on JB's album as well, haven't you?
Oh yeah, I was in America last year recording that, and that's, you know, that's done. So he's over here doing his book. Unfortunately, he's not playing with us. Which he should be, but never mind. You know, so we're doing one of his songs, and we're doing a couple off that album actually.
So tell me about us. Tell me about you.
Well,
every time I've done one, the phone's gone off. Choose your mind.
Well, I mean, I've been doing, you know, stuff for years. I've just released an album called A Weakness of Mine with his violin player. It's kind of acoustic album.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna make another record. So all my stuff is on Spotify, under Archie Brown, the Young Bucks, Archie Brown, or it's on, you know, iTunes or whatever. And you can get this new album on archiebrown.com. So you can find out everything, you know, what I've done and whatever on that.
And I can go in there and give you the tenner and get the CD and play.
You can. And actually, we'll get a couple of beers. Yeah, no, we can get a couple of beers then. That'd be good. That'd be good. Yeah.
And the Bureau days, tell me about it. It's an awkward name to say, isn't it? And I ain't even had a beer. The Bureau.
The Bureau. I know. Yeah, it's kind of French, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a desk.
Where did you get the name
but I think
from?
it's like, you know, I think it's to do with. I think it was because Dave Cork, who's a local man here, used to, you know, his office. He used to call it the Bureau, and then it just became that. You see what I mean? You know, because he thought he was posh.
Yeah.
The Bureau, you know. But anyway, you know, and it kind of came from that. And also, it's like, I suppose, the FBI and there's that kind of stuff. I don't know. It's got kind of connotations of investigation. I don't know. Soul investigations.
Tell me about them old days with the Bureau. What were they like?
Well, we used to sit in his office round this toaster with one bar fire and I'd get a loaf of bread and then, you know what I mean, a bit of marge, and I'd tell it wasn't good. But but it was like, we had fun, and we did a great American tour with the Pretenders, and that was like probably, you know, was certainly a big, you know, great experience in my life. You know, I still remember it well, you know. That was the old Pretenders there, you know, the two guys before the two guys died.
Yeah.
Hyman and Scott.
They were massive, weren't they, in the day?
Well, you know, yeah, it wasn't huge. We were playing like 3,000. It wasn't huge. We weren't playing massive places there, but you know, it was. You know, I mean, there was people turned out to see Chrissy Hynde, that's for sure. Lots of guys on motorbikes and stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it was, it was good, and really enjoyed that. But so, and the Bureau, I think, you know, it kind of record company problems, it's all that sort of stuff. Warner Brothers got done for hyping. We, you know, they didn't. Then they sacked all their lot. Then they got a new lot, and they didn't like us. Well, you know, end of story. That's how it goes.
Nothing really changes in music, does it? That management of it, there's always been a kind of the artists, the performers, the writing it, being ripped off by the big companies and the management. And there's always been the rounds, the us and thens, the haves and the have-nots.
Yeah. Well, I think it's changing now with the internet. I think the kids, mind you, I think in a way things were better for us because there was more kind of money about now. Now the record industry is like, you know, flat.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, they've got to really kind of work, but the thing is they can reach everybody through this kind of, you know, all this Facebook stuff and everything. They can just get to people and start their own thing, you know, which I think is brilliant, you know, because without a record company. You know.
It's worked for us as well because we used to advertise our gigs by mental telepathy. Now we advertise them through Facebook.
I'm guessing mental telepathy don't really work that good.
Well, you know, it doesn't actually. Oddly enough, Vic Ferrari was reminded us this morning of a story when our drummer was being interviewed on the radio about sport development in Newcastle. Yeah. And the guy was interviewing him said, "Oh, and you're playing in band as well, don't you?" He said, "Oh yeah, I play with Archie Brown." And he says, "And I see here you've got a gig tonight." He says, "Have I?" And I had to ring Archie on the air to ring him up and said, "Hey, are we playing at such a place tonight?" And he said, "Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you." Well, that's nothing new with Mr. Brown.
So you're a very good organised then, aren't you?
Absolutely, you know, I mean, and it's a good job Vic's organising this gig actually. But you know, and he's done a very good job. I think it's going to be a great night. You know,
It is a great gig that he's put together.
Yeah,
with
it's
the
just-
signing, with yourselves, Stone Foundation.
got everyone sorted. Sent them emails, you know, like directions and all that kind of stuff. Fantastic. You know.
And you've come down from the northeast as well. It's one hell of a journey for you.
Well, that's not bad. Three hours or so, you know, 3 or 4 hours. Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
So and it's nice to be back in Brum. I want to, you know, go down Broad Street tonight and see the sights. But I'll probably end up in the local, you know, boozer.
You've been about a bit. You've come to Birmingham a lot. It's changed. Broad Street ain't the street that you used to know.
Oh God, no. But I mean, I was here in the summer a couple of years ago, and unbelievable, like, you know, every race under the sun, dressed to the nines, going down the street, an amazing sight. I mean, it made Newcastle look much less of a party town.
Really?
I would say so. Yeah. Oh yeah, God.
Okay.
And when you see Broad Street, like I saw, I don't know, you don't get it. And also the way everything is open. You know, in Newcastle you've got to pay to get in the clubs. You know, whereas here it's cool.
Because Newcastle, I mean, they must have good promo people.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that night out, good at Newcastle.
Well,
I
it is,
don't buy that.
it's a
I
good-
think Birmingham's the greatest city on the planet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just Birmingham's just a lot bigger. You know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, Newcastle's not that big a place, really. You know, the tune itself, but I mean, obviously it is a party town as well. You know what I mean? It really is good. I mean, Geordie's, I love it. You know, that's why I'm there. But I mean, Birmingham's pretty. You know, it's great.
We're moving on, another the Geordie accent there.
That's not mine. You're wrong. I'm just a trainee. I was captured. I went up there in 1973 and never got out.
Yeah. And you roll in the band.
Yeah, I've played with Archie since '75.
What's it like to play with?
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know. No, it's great. You know, I mean, he's a fantastic songwriter. That's what it's about. I mean, I wouldn't be doing it if I wouldn't be playing with him all this time if it wasn't for his songs. You know, because he ain't the easiest guy to work with in other circumstances.
Well, for a start, he's left-handed.
No, he's not. Well, he's ambidextrous.
You was right. You were signing that bloody autograph.
Oh
with
yeah,
your left-hand,
I'm
mate.
left-handed. Yeah, that's right.
Would you roll with both?
No,
Honestly, it's
Honestly, it's
left-handed.
I mean, I do the other thing with both. But
He linked up them all as well. All genius is left-handed, trust me.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I'll trust you.
Maradona, Archie, me.
Alright, Gabby.
Yeah,
Gabby's a left-handed.
we're in the left-handed club, mate. I tell ya. And what time are you going on tonight? 40-minute set that you're going to be doing?
Well, I'm doing about 45, I hope.
Yeah.
But what are you saying? What time we're going on? 8:30.
Yeah, probably that up, yeah.
8:30, and then after us, Foundation will probably straight away go on. 15 minutes later. So get yourself down here if this is live or whatever.
Sadly, it ends.
Okay.
But I'm gonna
tomorrow morning you missed it. Okay. Whatever.
You missed the greatest concert gig ever in the history of Birmingham and music.
That's it.
You should have been at the Flapper, boys and girls. I'm going to go in there and buy one of your CDs. I've got a cock in my pocket. Guys, have a great stay in Birmingham. And Archie, when you go up them bars in Broad Street, be selective, because some of the music that comes out is absolute garbage. You're better off staying here and listening to a DJ in here spinning some proper tunes.
Yeah, well, I will, yeah.
You know what I mean? Before we go, I've got to just mention, Susie, about the Dexys. You know, they're searching for the Young Soul Rebels. Great album, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great album, and Mike Lay, the photographer, he had these fantastic photographs of that early Dexys stuff, so it'd be a fun book. I mean, I haven't seen it yet, but I know his photographs well. I mean, he did The Clash, he did all that stuff in the old days, and he's really good. Great photographer, so recommend having a look.
Yeah, I've already bought that, put it in my car. I'm ready to rock and roll, guys, you know what I mean? I'm saying, let's have it. Catch you later, guys. Thank you. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Every time I see you now, walking down my street, I wanna cry. It's just a little weakness, just a little weakness, it's a weakness of mine. Every time I pick up the phone, You know I never speak, don't know why. It's just a little weakness, just a little weakness, it's a weakness of mine. There will be a moon tonight, think I'll sit out, watch the sky. It's just a little weakness, just a little weakness, it's a weakness of mine. And if you ask me where I've been, and who have I been seeing, you know what I will say, I'm gonna lie. 'Cause I'm never gonna let you know, I'm never gonna let it show. Just a little weakness, just a little weakness, a weakness of mine. Was that a shadow I saw moving through the trees, or just the wind? It's just another weakness, just another weakness, it's a weakness of mine. And if I belong where I cannot be, that's just too bad for me. Just a little weakness, just a little weakness, just a little weakness, it's a weakness of mine. I've been to heaven and you sent me back, but I've seen it, that's a fact. Just a little weakness, 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 it's a weakness of mine.
Joining me now, the lead singer of arguably, and it ain't an argument, it ain't a big band, the greatest soul band on the planet, one of the greatest bands ever to grace the earth, the Stone Foundation. Neil James, how are you?
I'm very well, Gabby, how are you?
Super. Did you like that build-up?
That was a little over the top, but no, I did like the build-up.
I think anyone that knows Gabby does go over the top at times, but now I'm not. 100% believe, to find the spirit, you found it. I think you're superb. You've been to Japan, the Japanese love you. You're all over everywhere. Paul Weller loves you. Nolan Porter loves you. Everybody loves the Stone Foundation. Sadly, commercial radio, I'm even in a row with We Are Free Radio because they think I don't like them. It's because they won't play songs like yours on the radio.
Well, so far, I mean, we've had really good response from like the BBC. They've been really supportive. We've got loads of plays on that. I've heard there's a couple of DJs on Absolute Radio that absolutely love what we're doing, and I mean, you know, at the end of the day, we're just doing what we're doing, and if people get it, they get it, and fair play, and they'll play the record. I mean, we're just really proud of what we've done, and that's kind of it, really. You know, we sort of try and make music for ourselves, and if people take it on board and take it from there, then so be it.
And you're unsigned, Neil. You're unmanaged. You do it yourself.
Yeah.
Your album, Ori's done it.
Yeah.
And it's a great. It's almost an iconic album cover to find the spirit. You're not going to find a better album out there. People, go and buy it. Check out the Stone Foundation. They are the real deal.
Well, I mean, we made the decision not to really worry about getting a label on board, to be honest. We wanted to sort of do it ourselves, have control over what we were doing. We got a distributor, a fantastic distributor on board.
Yeah.
So, you know, we just kind of took that from there, really. We didn't want to sort of have to overcomplicate anything, and it just feels like we've got that groundswell at the moment where, you know, we are sort of still underground, so to speak, but it feels like it's building. More and more people are getting into what we're trying to do and what we're trying to put out there, you know.
Well, you're certainly doing it. I mean, it's, as you say, it's uncomplicated. Like a train. I thought it was chasing paper, but it's chasing paper. And man, Holy Blue.
As long as you didn't think it was toilet paper, we're all right, mate.
Well, Holy Blue just takes you somewhere else. There's, say, that new album.
Yeah.
BBC, just Adrian Goldberg from BBC WM just walked in there. Massive support of yours.
Yeah.
He's
When you talk to him, Mark, you want to get him in board,
when you're looking for a Neil, they're like buses and taxis, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
Then 2 or 3 come at the same time.
How you doing?
Neil Shrewsbury, how are you, mate?
All right, thank you. Best drummer in the band.
Well, one of the best drummers on the planet as well, aren't you?
I wouldn't say that.
He's not too many.
But
you're really you're really smashing it up, and you're really making inroads.
Yes, it's been a bit of a purple patch for us. It's been good since Christmas, and with the release of the album, it's way beyond our expectations with sales-wise and that. I mean, it's been really heartening. But I think, you know, people, social media, people always know what's going on, and I think they've took to our story, and everyone likes an underdog, don't they? And they seem to have latched onto us, and it's very welcoming. Yeah.
I think you're right, and people do, but I think there's, you know, with that underdog thing, that I don't think people like injustices. And you not being played at the highest level all over is a complete injustice, because your music is just so good.
Thank you. It's difficult for us to think in them terms.
No, it is. I'm saying that. I told him earlier.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that then. Thank you.
You know, it absolutely is. I mean, the albums that you've got out and the new stuff that you're doing, you know, you're out everywhere. I'm loving your Afghan, and I'm loving your Young badge as well.
Oh, right, that's not how I do it. That's a next guy, yeah.
To take it what it is, you know, I mean, really encouraged with the sales of the album and everything else, you know.
Yeah.
And, we just want to just make people smile at the end of the day, you know.
You don't only make them smile, you're making them dance.
What, me personally? No, but it's been fantastic, the response from the new album, you know, and we're just looking forward to progressing and moving on to writing some new stuff and doing the next project. So
keeping people interested, isn't it? Yeah, you know, and we're keeping ourselves interested first and foremost. You know, we've been doing kind of chipping away, carving out our own niche for a decade now, and doing our own thing, and people have finally found us and thought, where have these been all this time? And you know, just spreads the word, just spreads the word of mouth thing, and you know, great. You know, we'll just keep on doing what we've always done, really.
Easiest way to get your album for people out there, because you're going to come into the sports radio in our studios, and you guys are going to do something. We're carrying on. We're going to back you. We're going to follow you. Anything that you want played, you know that.
I know you've been very supportive. I think.
You want to manage how you're looking at it, baby.
How much is this going to cost us?
Do you know what? Absolutely bugger all. Because I believe in people. I will help anyone that I believe in. Do you know, that's the way I want to live my life, baby.
Good on you.
And that's the way it is, and you know, it's just like...
That's the way we want to live our lives.
Yeah.
And that's what the band's all about, really.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we hope to promote and just get the message out there.
And the Dexys feel as well, not a better band to play tribute to the book, to the album, searching for the young soul rebels. I started off with JB. They've been searching for it, and you found the spirit. What a win-win, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they've always been on our doorstep, and that was an important record for us all when we were growing up, and that's kind of what inspired us to start bands and be in bands in the first place. But that influence kind of always prevails, so it's nice to have them connections, but you know, we're kind of always looking to do our own thing and have our own stamp on it. And take things forward.
It was nice for us that we obviously got involved with a thing called The Gathering 3 or 4, maybe more years ago, and obviously we were covering a couple of Dexys songs at that time in our set, And as soon as Dexys came back with that phenomenal record that they made a year or so ago, we just kind of thought, well, you know, we'll move on from that now. We're looking into different avenues and different fields, different sort of structures and whatnot. But you know, it was always in our conscience, just as so people like Van Morrison and Traffic and bands like that, and all the great jazz records that we love, and they've always been a huge influence, obviously, but we've got so many influences, it's ridiculous.
It's one of very, very many, you know. And that's first and foremost. That's what we are, music lovers. We've all got sizable record collections, and the music fans first and foremost. So I think that's what people can latch onto and understand when they see us and hear our records. That, you know, that we are the real deal. Really, we're not just doing it for the pose or any other reason. It's just in our blood. It's a lifestyle for us. That's what it is. It's not a hobby or anything. It's proper.
Earthy, real, organic. And even your football team, Atherstone.
Oh yeah,
let's have it.
Yeah, they're in the cup final at the best got, and it's nice. I mean, that again, that's a grassroots thing, and no one gets paid there, and they have their troubles, and it's hard to survive at any level, especially grassroots, non-league. And good luck to them. They're doing okay, and I'll go when I can. I really like it down there, so you know.
Tell you what we want to do pre-season. I'll have a word with Marcus. Solihull Moors versus Atherstone. Let's have the Stone Foundation on a pitch playing an open air gig. I'll be wicked, running.
I'm in nets.
He's the cat here.
Is he really? You're a goalkeeper?
Well, in a fashion.
Come on.
I only let 4 goals in the last time we played.
I'm not sure he's the best goalkeeper in the band. Maybe the best player in the band.
There you go. He'll catch a ball and have a fag. Catch a ball, have a drink.
We're going to have to go and catch our shakes. I think it starts. It's going to be a brilliant night. You're coming into sports radio. You're going to, do a bit with us.
Yeah, great. Looking forward to it.
Biscuit Boys show. Easiest way to get hold of your album. How can people do that? What's the website, Neil?
All over, really. You can go on Facebook, check the Stone Foundation page there. You can go on Twitter. We've got a Twitter page, Stone Foundation. You can go over to HMV, Amazon, iTunes, your local record shop. Order it there. You can order it anywhere, really. You could order it in Tower Records in Japan if you fancy it. So that's about it,
We don't accept record tokens. No. Postal orders.
So guys, you've heard it there. Get out, get to Find the Spirit, one of the greatest albums you will ever have in your collection. Thank you, good night, God bless. The Stone Foundation are gonna smash it! Cheers guys, thank you.
That's the way I wanna live my life, baby. I want to care and be cared for now. That's the way I wanna live my life, baby. When home in trouble knocks upon my door, happiness will answer. We don't need you no more. I wanna be yours, and you could be mine. That's the way I wanna live my life, baby.
is RBRadio.com.